Let's be real for a second. When you think of New Jersey, what comes to mind? The Turnpike, Snooki, maybe a distinct smell you can't quite identify? The internet loves to treat the Garden State like the Armpit of America. But here's the thing, they're wrong. Like, completely wrong. What if I told you that New Jersey is hiding a geography so wild it includes a volcano, an underwater Grand Canyon, and a mountain that glows in the dark? What if I told you this state has its own civil war over a breakfast meat, a beach where clothing is 100% optional on federal land, and a history involving German spies? We are going way beyond the Boardwalk today. We've dug up 50 of the most insane, sound fake but are totally true facts about New Jersey. We're talking local secrets, hidden ghost towns, and laws that will get you arrested if you try to pump your own gas. Stick around until the very end because I have a bonus fact about a New Jersey location that is technically legally considered a different dimension. You do not want to miss that. Fact 50. The highest coastal point, south of Maine. You might think the Jersey Shore is nothing but flat sand dunes, but head up to Atlantic Highlands and look for Mount Mitchell. Standing at 266 feet, this is officially the highest natural elevation on the Atlantic seaboard from Maine all the way down to the Yucatan Peninsula in Mexico. That's right, you can't get this high overlooking the ocean anywhere else on the East Coast until you hit New England. On a clear day, you can see the skyscrapers of Manhattan looking like tiny Legos across the bay. 49. The fluorescent capital of the world. Let's go underground. In the town of Franklin, specifically at the Sterling Hill mine, the rocks do something alien. They glow. Franklin is known as the Fluorescent Mineral Capital of the world. The soil here is rich in zinc and over 350 distinct mineral species, and about 90 of them glow vibrant neon red and green under ultraviolet light. It looks like the surface of another planet, and scientists still flock here because 35 of these minerals are found nowhere else on Earth. 48. The Great Swamp versus the Jetport. New Jersey is dense, but it almost became one giant runway. In the 1960s, the Port Authority wanted to pave over the Great Swamp in Morris and Somerset counties to build a massive jetport the size of Newark Airport. But the locals, they weren't having it. A massive grassroots movement fought back, bought the land, and donated it to the federal government. Today, the Great Swamp National Wildlife Refuge is a protected wilderness where you're more likely to see a snapping turtle than a Boeing 747. 47. The Civil War of breakfast meat. If you want to start a fight in a New Jersey bagel shop, just ask for a ham, egg, and cheese. You have just entered a combat zone. North Jersey calls the specific processed meat product Taylor ham. South Jersey calls it pork roll. There is no middle ground. The geographical line is roughly around the Raritan River. Friendships have ended over this. And for the record, the box says John Taylor's pork roll. So, everyone is technically right and everyone is angry. 46. The Trenton Makes sign. Drive through the capital, Trenton, and you'll see a massive bridge with giant red neon letters. Trenton Makes, the world takes. It sounds arrogant, but it's historically accurate. In the 1920s, Trenton was an industrial powerhouse manufacturing steel, rubber, wire, and ceramics that built the Golden Gate Bridge and the suspension cables for the George Washington Bridge. The bridge is a rusty monument to a time when this small city literally built the world. Fact 45. The Navesink Twin Lights and the Pledge. Overlooking the ocean in Highlands, you'll find the Navesink Twin Lights. It looks like a medieval fortress. Not only was this the site of the first official reading of the Pledge of Allegiance as we know it in 1893, but it was also where Guglielmo Marconi demonstrated the first practical wireless telegraph in America. Without this spot in Jersey, your Wi-Fi might not exist. 44. New Jersey's own Area 51. Speaking of wireless, down in Little Egg Harbor, there used to be a tower that dominated the skyline. The Tuckerton Wireless Tower, built in 1912, stood 825 feet tall. At the time, it was the second tallest structure on the planet, shorter only than the Eiffel Tower. It was built by a German company, and when World War I started, the US Navy seized it because they suspected the Germans were using it to send coded messages to U-boats in the Atlantic. 43. The first intercollegiate football game. Forget the SEC. College football was born in New Brunswick on November 6, 1869. Rutgers played Princeton in what looked more like a massive rugby brawl than modern football. Rutgers won 6-4. So, every time you watch the Super Bowl, remember it all started on a muddy field in Jersey. 42. Full service or no service. This is the one that confuses every out-of-towner. In New Jersey, it has been illegal to pump your own gas since 1949. The Retail Gasoline Dispensing Safety Act claims it's for safety, but locals know the truth. We just don't want to get out of the car in the winter. If you try to touch the nozzle, an attendant will yell at you. Just sit back and enjoy the luxury. 41. The standard of living. Pizza Index. This isn't an official economic metric, but it should be. New Jersey locals joke that the standard of living in any given town is determined by the number of pizzerias per square mile. The higher the density of pizza shops, the better the town. And we aren't talking chains. If you see a Domino's in New Jersey, it's usually empty. We have arguably the best pizza culture in the country, largely fueled by the massive Italian migration to cities like Newark and Paterson in the early 20th century. Fact 40. The solar system in a lake. If you go to the Blue Mountain Lakes in the Delaware Water Gap, you are in one of the darkest spots in the state. Amateur astronomers flock here because the light pollution from New York City is blocked by the Kittatinny Ridge. It's one of the few places in the tri-state area where you can see the Milky Way with the naked eye. 39. The Blueberry Capital? Hamilton, New Jersey, calls itself the Blueberry Capital of the world, and they have the receipts. The cultivated blueberry, the big, sweet ones you buy in the store, were first domesticated here by Elizabeth White and Dr. Frederick Coville. Before them, blueberries were just wild, tiny berries. New Jersey still produces millions of pounds of them every year. 38. The ghost towns of Tox Island. Drive along the Delaware River on the Jersey side, and you'll find roads that just end. Driveways leading to nowhere. This is the legacy of the Tox Island Dam project. In the 60s, the government used eminent domain to seize thousands of acres and kick people out of their homes to build a massive dam. But the dam was never built. The project was canceled, leaving behind ghost towns like Walpack Center, where empty historic houses still stand, waiting for a flood that never came. 37. The Jersey Devil isn't just a hockey team. We can't do a list without him. The Pine Barrens, a massive sandy forest in South Jersey, is the legendary home of the Jersey Devil. But did you know there is a specific spot called the Blue Hole in Winslow Township? It's a perfectly round, deep blue body of water in the middle of the woods. Locals say it's bottomless and that the devil uses it as a portal. It's actually just a spring-fed sinkhole, but the water is terrifyingly cold year-round. 36. The Hindenburg Disaster Site. The most famous aviation disaster in history happened right here. The Hindenburg airship exploded over Lakehurst Naval Air Station in 1937. You can still visit the site today. There is a simple chain outline on the tarmac where the gondola crashed. It's a hauntingly quiet spot in the middle of the Pine Barrens. Fact 35. The secret ringing rocks. In the Sourland Mountains, there is a debris field of boulders. If you take a hammer and strike them, they don't make a thud. They ring like a bell. It's a geological phenomenon involving the tension in the diabase rock. It's weird, it's loud, and it's totally natural. 34. The first submarine. We think of submarines as modern warfare, but the first practical submarine was tested in the Passaic River in 1878 by John Holland. It was called the Fenian Ram. Holland eventually sold his designs to the U.S. Navy, but for a while, the murky waters of Paterson were the testing ground for underwater warfare. 33. The 69-mile bicycle track. If you want to ride a bike across the state without hitting a single car, you can. The D&R Canal Towpath is a 69-mile trail that runs from the Delaware River all the way to New Brunswick. It passes through major cultural centers like Trenton and Princeton, following the old mule paths that used to pull coal barges. It is an untouched green vein running through the most densely populated state. 32. Joseph Bonaparte's American Kingdom. After Napoleon was exiled, his brother, Joseph Bonaparte, the former king of Spain, fled to America. He didn't move to New York City or D.C. He moved to Bordentown, New Jersey. He built a massive estate called Point Breeze with grand gardens and tunnels. For years, European royalty would dock in Philadelphia and travel upriver to party with the former King of Spain in New Jersey. 31. The origins of saltwater taffy. Go to any boardwalk and you see saltwater taffy, but the name was an accident. In 1883, a candy shop owner in Atlantic City named David Bradley had his shop flooded by a massive storm. The ocean water soaked his entire stock of taffy. When a customer came in the next day, he jokingly said he only had saltwater taffy. The customer bought it, loved the salty sweet combo, and a boardwalk empire was born. Fact 30. Lucy the elephant. Speaking of the shore, in Margate, there is a 6-story building shaped like an elephant. Her name is Lucy. Built in 1881 to attract real estate buyers, she is actually older than the Eiffel Tower and the Statue of Liberty. You can climb up her leg and look out of her eyes. She has survived hurricanes, lightning strikes, and demolition threats to remain the weirdest piece of architecture on the coast. 29. The Great Chain. During the Revolutionary War, the British Navy controlled the rivers. To stop them from sailing up the Hudson, American blacksmiths at the Andover Iron Works in Sussex County forged a massive iron chain. It was hauled across the state and stretched across the river at West Point. Each link weighed over 100 pounds. It successfully blocked the British fleet. Jersey steel saving the Revolution. 28. Campbell's Soup. The most famous soup in the world comes from Camden. The Campbell Soup Company invented the process of condensing soup, removing the water to make it cheaper to ship, right here in 1897. The red and white can is an icon of design, and it's pure New Jersey history. 27. The Jug Handle. Driving in New Jersey requires a special degree. We don't do left turns. If you want to turn left on a highway, you have to turn right first. It's called a jug handle. It's a loop that takes you off the road and brings you across the intersection. It was designed to keep traffic flowing, but for anyone from out of state, it is a navigational nightmare. 26. M&Ms. Smell chocolate in the air in Hackettstown? That's because Mars Wrigley has a massive factory there. 50% of the M&Ms sold in the United States are made in Hackettstown. This small Jersey town is essentially the chocolate capital of the East Coast. But first, if you're enjoying this deep dive into the weirdest state in the Union, do me a favor. Hit that subscribe button. It's free, it helps the channel, and unlike a Jersey jug handle, it's actually easy to use. Drop a comment below. Are you Team Taylor Ham or Team Pork Roll? Let us know, and let's get back to the list. Fact 25. The Castle of Spoons. You might know Paterson for the Great Falls or its industrial history, but it's also home to one of the weirdest collections in the world. Inside the historic Lambert Castle, there is a legitimate spoon museum that houses over 5,400 spoons. The collection was started by Bertha Lambert in the early 1900s and includes a spoon from every single state and almost every country on Earth. It sounds like a joke, but walking through a castle filled with thousands of pieces of global silverware is a surreal experience you can't get anywhere else. 24. Gunnison Beach. New Jersey has strict laws, but Gunnison Beach at Sandy Hook is a loophole. It is located on federal land, part of the National Park Service, which means New Jersey's public indecency laws don't apply. It is the only legal clothing-optional beach in the state. On a hot summer day, thousands of people are there, completely in the buff, with a perfect view of the New York City skyline. 23. The Mulberry Street Mafia, the real Sopranos. The Sopranos wasn't just fiction. It was based on the DeCavalcante crime family and the street culture of North Jersey. But the real history is in the ironbound section of Newark. Historically known for industry, it became a cultural melting pot. Today, it's famous for Portuguese and Brazilian culture, but in the Prohibition era, it was bootlegging central. 22. The first baseball game. Cooperstown. New York gets the credit, but Hoboken is the real birthplace of baseball. The first recorded game between two organized teams took place at Elysian Fields in Hoboken in 1846. The New York Nine defeated the Knickerbockers 23-1. The rules we play by today were codified right here on the Jersey side of the Hudson. 21. The Hudson Canyon. About 100 miles off the coast of New Jersey lies a canyon on the ocean floor that is comparable in depth and scale to the Grand Canyon. It's called the Hudson Canyon. It was carved by the Hudson River during the last ice age when sea levels were lower. It's a biodiversity hotspot teeming with marine life, sharks, and whales, right off the coast of the Boardwalks. Fact 20. Action Park. In Vernon, New Jersey, there was a theme park so dangerous it became a legend. Action Park. In the 80s and 90s, the rides were designed with almost no regard for physics or safety. There was a looping water slide that repeatedly injured people. The wave pool was nicknamed the Grave Pool. It's closed and rebranded now as Mountain Creek, but the legend of the most dangerous theme park in history lives on. 19. War of the Worlds. In 1938, Orson Welles broadcast a radio play about aliens invading Earth. He chose a real location for the landing site, Grover's Mill, New Jersey. The broadcast was so realistic that people in New Jersey actually panicked. Locals grabbed shotguns and went hunting for Martians in the cornfields. The water tower in town was even shot at because people thought it was an alien tripod in the dark. 18. The Teardrop Memorial. Everyone looks at the Statue of Liberty, but in Bayonne, there is a monument that is arguably just as powerful. The Teardrop Memorial was a gift from Russia to the US to honor the victims of 9/11. It is a massive bronze block with a jagged tear through the middle and a giant suspended teardrop. It is stunning, heartbreaking, and surprisingly few people know it's there. 17. Bergen County Blue Laws. Want to buy clothes on a Sunday? Don't go to Paramus. Bergen County has some of the last remaining strict blue laws in the country. It is illegal to sell clothing, furniture, or electronics on Sunday. Paramus has some of the biggest malls in the country, like Garden State Plaza, and they are ghost towns on Sundays. Locals love it because it's the only day there's no traffic. 16. The Mullica River Wilderness. User comment alert. If you kayak down the Mullica or Batstow rivers in the Pine Barrens, you will experience something rare in the Northeast: total silence. The cedar water is dark red, from tannins in the roots, and for miles you will see zero signs of civilization. It feels like the Amazon, not the Mid-Atlantic. Fact 15. The Shipwreck Graveyard. The coastline of New Jersey is known as a graveyard of the Atlantic. There are over 3,000 documented shipwrecks off the Jersey coast. The shifting sandbars and treacherous shoals near the Barnegat Inlet have claimed massive ocean liners and pirate ships alike. Divers still find artifacts to this day. 14. Seabrook Farms. In South Jersey, Seabrook Farms was once the frozen food capital of the world. During World War II, when labor was short, the owner recruited Japanese Americans from internment camps to work the fields, offering them a way out of the camps. It created a unique Japanese-American community in rural South Jersey that still exists today. 13. The black bear density. We mentioned the Jersey Devil, but the real beast is the black bear. Sussex County has one of the highest densities of black bears in North America. We aren't talking remote Alaska numbers. We are talking bears in backyards, bears in pools, and bears opening car doors. If you hike in North Jersey, you are in bear country, period. 12. Thomas Edison's Invention Factory. Menlo Park gets the fame, but West Orange is where the magic happened. Edison built the world's first research and development lab here. The motion picture camera, the improved phonograph, and the nickel-iron battery were all perfected here. It wasn't just a guy in a shed, it was the prototype for modern tech companies like Google or Apple. 11. Whippany Aviation. Long before the Wright brothers got all the credit, New Jersey was an aviation hub. Whippany had the first purpose-built airfield in New Jersey. The Bell Labs site in Whippany was also where the first live television transmission was received. We've been broadcasting ourselves to the world for a century. Fact 10. The Musconetcong River. Try saying that 3 times fast. The Musconetcong is a designated National Wild and Scenic River. It's a hidden gem for trout fishing and history, winding through the valleys of the highlands. It's proof that New Jersey isn't just industrial runoff, it's pristine water. 9. Cape May. Diamonds. Go to Sunset Beach in Cape May and look at the pebbles. you'll find clear quartz stones that look like diamonds. They are called Cape May diamonds. They are actually quartz crystals that wash down the Delaware River from the Pocono Mountains over thousands of years, getting polished by the journey. When cut and faceted, they look exactly like real diamonds. 8. The Painted Ladies of Cape May. While we are in Cape May, look at the houses. This town has the second largest concentration of Victorian homes in America, second only to San Francisco. They are called Painted Ladies. After a massive fire in 1878, the town was rebuilt in this ornate style, and today it looks like a gingerbread village frozen in time. 7. Staten Island. Should be New Jersey? Look at a map. Staten Island is clearly sitting in New Jersey's lap. But New York owns it. The legend says it was decided by a boat race in the 1600s. If a boat could circumnavigate the island in 24 hours, it went to New York. Captain Christopher Billop allegedly did it. But the truth is, the border wars between New Jersey and New York have been going on for centuries. 6. Liberty Island is, mostly, New Jersey. Speaking of border wars, let's talk about the Statue of Liberty. The island is technically federal land, but it sits in New Jersey waters. In a 1998 Supreme Court case, it was ruled that the filled land, the artificial part of the island created by dumping rocks, is part of New Jersey. The gift shop? That's in New Jersey. The statue? New York. It's a mess. Fact 5. White Manna and the Slider. You like burgers? White Manna in Hackensack is legendary. It debuted at the 1939 World's Fair and was moved to Jersey. They are famous for perfecting the slider, steamed onions, meat, cheese, potato bun. It is consistently voted one of the best burgers in America. This is the holy grail of greasy spoon culture. 4. The Sourland Mountain Bootleggers. Those Ringing Rocks mountains we mentioned earlier? During Prohibition, the Sourland Mountains were a haven for bootleggers and moonshiners. The terrain was so rough and the locals so secretive that the police couldn't raid them. It was the Wild West just an hour from New York City. 3. Les Paul and the Electric Guitar. Music changed forever in Mahwah, New Jersey. Les Paul, the legendary inventor, lived there and refined the solid-body electric guitar and multi-track recording in his home studio. Without his work in New Jersey, rock and roll as we know it simply wouldn't exist. 2. The Lindbergh Kidnapping Trial. The crime of the century, the kidnapping of the Lindbergh baby, happened near Hopewell, New Jersey, but the trial took place in Flemington at the Hunterdon County Courthouse. The Union Hotel across the street housed the jurors and journalists. It became a media circus that changed how news was covered in America. You can still visit the courthouse today. It looks almost exactly the same. And finally, Fact 1. New Jersey's Grand Canyon, the Palisades. These are massive basalt cliffs that rise 540 feet straight up from the Hudson River. They were formed 200 million years ago. But they are also the site of the most famous duel in American history. In 1804, Vice President Aaron Burr shot Alexander Hamilton on the rocks at the base of these cliffs in Weehawken. The geography of New Jersey literally shaped the political history of the United States. I promised you a bonus fact, and this one is my favorite: the Round Valley Reservoir. In Clinton Township, there is a massive blue lake called the Round Valley Reservoir. It is the deepest body of water in the state. But here's the creepy part: it's man-made. There was a farming valley here. In the 1960s, the state flooded it. Houses and farms were demolished, but the foundations are still down there, 180 feet underwater. It's also known as the Bermuda Triangle of New Jersey because over 26 people have drowned there, and because of the depth and cold temperature, some of the bodies have never been found. They are preserved in the cold, dark waters forever. Happy swimming! New Jersey is weird, wild, and incredibly misunderstood. From glowing rocks to pork roll wars, it's a state that refuses to be boring. Which fact blew your mind? Did I miss your hometown secret? Let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching. I'm Paul, and this is the World Blueprint. Subscribe to the channel and we'll see you in the next one.